This family was the Oladimeji family. Their house was the biggest in the village. It was close to the king's palace. The house had very tall gates. Big mango trees gave shade in the front yard. The trees were so big that people liked to sit under them when the sun was hot. Everyone in the village said the same thing. If you want power, you must know the Oladimeji family. If you want money, you must be friends with them. If you need protection, you must be close to them. The head of the family was Chief Oladimeji. He was a rich man. He was also a powerful man. When he walked in the village, people bowed to him. When he spoke, everyone listened. Chief Oladimeji had 2 sons. The first son was named Kunle. Kunle was a proud man. He wanted to be powerful like his father. He wanted to be in politics. He wanted people to respect him and fear him. Kunle always walked with his head high. He spoke loudly. He liked people to know he was important. The second son was named Sola. Sola was different from his brother. He was quiet. He went to university and studied. He did not talk much. He was a calm person. Sola was married to a woman named Teni. Teni was a lawyer. She was educated and respected in the village. Kunle was also married. His wife's name was Morounke. Morounke was a good woman. She had a gentle heart. She loved her husband Kunle very much. She tried her best to be a good wife. When she married into the Oladimeji family, she was happy. She thought, now I am part of a great family. I will work hard to make them proud of me. Every morning, Morounke woke up early. She cleaned the house. She cooked food. She greeted everyone with respect. She spoke softly. She never raised her voice. But there was one person who did not like her. That person was Madame Felicia, Kunle's mother, and the wife of Chief Oladimeji. Madame Felicia never liked Morounke from the first day. No matter what Morounke did, it was never good enough. If Morounke cooked rice, Madame Felicia would say, "This rice is too soft. Who taught you to cook?" If Morounke cleaned the house, Madame Felicia would say, "You missed dust in the corner. Are you blind?" If Morounke wore a new dress, Madame Felicia would say, "Why are you dressing like this? You think you are better than us?" Every week, the family had meetings. All the family members would sit together in the big living room. At every meeting, Madame Felicia did the same thing. She would invite a young woman to the house. Sometimes it was a neighbor's daughter. Sometimes it was a friend's niece. The woman would serve drinks and talk nicely. Then Madame Felicia would say loudly so everyone could hear, "Ah, look at this young woman. See how she's respectful. See how she knows how to behave in a good home. If only my son had married someone like this." Then she would look at Morounke with angry eyes. Everyone would become quiet. They would look down. They would pretend they did not hear anything. But everyone heard, and Morounke heard most of all. She would sit there, her hands shaking. Tears would fill her eyes, but she would not let them fall, not in front of everyone. At night, when she was alone in her room, she would cry on her pillow. What did I do wrong? She would ask herself. Why does she hate me so much? One day, Madame Felicia called everyone to a family meeting. When they all sat down, she said with a sad voice, "I have something to tell you. I went to the hospital. The doctor said I have cancer. I am sick, very sick. I may not have much time to live." Everyone was shocked. Chief Oladimeji held her hand. No, you will be fine. We will find the best doctors." Kunle said, "Mother, you must be strong. We need you." Even Sola looked worried. But Teni, Sola's wife, looked at Madame Felicia carefully. Something felt wrong. Madame Felicia did not look sick. She was not weak. She ate well every day. After that day, everything changed. Madame Felicia used her sickness like a weapon. Anytime someone disagreed with her, she would hold her chest and say, "Oh, you want to kill me? You want me to die faster? I'm already dying from cancer and you give me stress?" She insulted Morounke even more now. If Morounke said anything, Madame Felicia would shout, "You see, this girl wants to send me to my grave. She's so disrespectful." No one could defend Morounke. If they did, Madame Felicia would cry and say they did not care about her sickness. The lie about cancer gave Madame Felicia complete control over the family, and she used that control to hurt Morounke every single day. In all that big house, only one person felt sorry for Morounke. That person was Teni, Sola's wife. Teni was different from the rest of the family. She had gone to university. She was a lawyer who worked in the city. She was calm, intelligent, and kind. Whenever Madame Felicia insulted Morounke at family meetings, Teni would try to change the subject. After the meetings, Teni would find Morounke sitting alone in the garden crying. Teni would sit next to her and say softly, "My sister, don't cry. Don't let them break your spirit." Morounke would wipe her tears and say, "But Teni, what did I do wrong? I try so hard. I respect everyone. I work every day, but they still hate me." Teni would hold her hand and say, "Listen to me. You did nothing wrong. Some people just have bad hearts, but God sees everything. One day, the truth will come out. One day, everyone will know you are a good woman." Those words gave Morounke a little hope. Whenever life in that house became too hard, Morounke would remember Teni's words, "God sees everything." But what Morounke did not know was this. The same family that was hurting her had already planned something much, much worse, something that would bring death to the village. Kunle wanted power. He did not just want to be his father's son. He wanted his own power. He wanted his own title. There was an election coming soon in the village. The position was for local mayor, the person who would control the village council and make important decisions. Kunle decided, "I will run for mayor. I will win. Then everyone will respect me, not because of my father, but because of myself." He started campaigning. He gave speeches. He promised roads. He promised water to every home. He promised jobs for young people. Many people liked him. They thought, he comes from a good family. He has money. Maybe he can help us. But Kunle had a big problem. There was an old case about land. Years ago, the Oladimeji family had taken land from some poor farmers. The farmers said the land was stolen. They went to court. The case was still open. If the truth came out, Kunle's political career would be destroyed before it even started. People would say, "His family are thieves. We cannot make him mayor." Kunle's enemies knew about this case. They were waiting for the right time to use it against him. One night, the family had a secret meeting. Chief Oladimeji, Madame Felicia, Kunle, and Sola sat together in a locked room. Chief Oladimeji said, "We need power in the court system. If we have friends who are judges, lawyers, and court officials, we can control the land case. We can make it disappear." Kunle asked, "But how do we get that power? How do we make connections in court?" Madame Felicia smiled, a cold, evil smile. She said, "We create a big case, a case that everyone talks about, a case that will bring us into the court system. Then we use that case to make friends with important people." Sola asked quietly, "What kind of case?" Madame Felicia smiled bigger, "A murder case." In the city, there lived a young man named Zainu. Zainu was an artist. He painted beautiful pictures. He drew portraits of people. His work was becoming popular. But Zainu was poor. He came from a poor family. He had no powerful connections. A few years ago, a rich woman named Madame Rose had found Zainu selling paintings on the street. She saw talent in him. Madame Rose paid for his art training. She bought him painting supplies. She introduced him to rich people who wanted to buy art. She helped him become known. Because of Madame Rose, Zainu's life had changed. He was no longer a street artist. Now he had a small studio. People came to him for paintings.
Zainu had a girlfriend. Her name was Amara. She was a young woman who worked in a shop. They loved each other and planned to marry one day. But then, something terrible happened. One morning, Zainu woke up and could not find Amara. He called her phone, no answer. He went to her house. She was not there. He asked her friends, "Where is Amara?" They said, "We don't know. We haven't seen her." Zainu went to the police station. "My girlfriend is missing," he said. "Her name is Amara. Please help me find her." The police asked him questions. They wrote down information. They said they would search for her. 3 days later, the police came to Zainu's house. But they did not come with good news. They came with handcuffs. "Zainu, you are under arrest for the murder of Amara," the police officer said. Zainu's eyes went wide with shock. "Murder? No, I didn't kill her. I love her. I reported her missing. Why would I kill her?" But the police did not listen. They took him away. The news spread fast. "The artist Zainu killed his girlfriend. He seemed like a nice boy, but he was evil. You can never trust men these days." Zainu sat in the prison cell, his head in his hands, crying. "This is not real," he said to himself. "This cannot be happening." But it was happening. And behind it all, the Oladimeji family was smiling. Zainu needed a lawyer. In prison, another inmate said to him, "There is a good lawyer in the city. Her name is Teni. She fights for innocent people. Maybe she can help you." When Zainu heard the name Teni, he remembered something. One of his art clients had mentioned her before. "Teni is honest," they had said. "She cares about justice." Zainu sent a message to Teni's law office. A few days later, Teni came to visit him in prison. She sat across from him, a notebook in her hand. "Tell me everything," she said. Zainu told her about Amara, about how much he loved her, about the day she disappeared, about how he reported her missing, about how the police arrested him. "I didn't kill her," Zainu said, tears in his eyes. "I swear to God, I would never hurt her. I wanted to marry her." Teni looked into his eyes. She had been a lawyer for many years. She could usually tell when someone was lying. And she believed him. "I will take your case," Teni said. Zainu felt hope for the first time in days. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you so much." Teni went back to her office and started working immediately. She read all the police reports. She looked at the evidence. And very quickly, she noticed something strange. The evidence was too perfect. The witness who said they saw Zainu fighting with Amara, that witness was known to lie for money. The fingerprint on the weapon was Zainu's own painting knife, which anyone could have taken from his studio. And strangest of all, no one had found Amara's body. "How can there be a murder without a body?" Teni said to herself. She started investigating deeper. She interviewed Zainu's neighbors. They all said, "Zainu and Amara loved each other. We never heard them fight." She checked hospital records, morgues, everywhere. Nobody, no Amara. The more she investigated, the more she became sure. This case was fake. Someone had created this case to frame Zainu. But who and why? Teni visited Zainu in prison many times. Each time they talked for hours about the case, about evidence, about witnesses. But they also talked about other things, about life, about dreams, about pain. Zainu told her about growing up poor, about his struggles as an artist, about how hard it was to be accused of something he didn't do. Teni told him about her work, about difficult cases, about fighting for justice in a world that was not always fair. Slowly, something began to change. Teni started thinking about Zainu even when she was not working on his case. Zainu started waiting eagerly for her visits. One day, Zainu said to her, "Thank you for believing in me. In this whole world, you are the only person who thinks I am innocent. Even my own family is not sure." Teni felt her heart beat faster. "I believe you because I can see the truth," she said softly. Their eyes met, and in that moment, both of them felt something they should not feel. Teni went home that night feeling confused. She was married to Sola. Sola was a good man. He was quiet and kind. But lately, Sola had been distant. He was always busy with family matters. He barely talked to her anymore. She felt lonely in her own marriage. And Zainu needed her. He depended on her. He looked at her with such grateful eyes. "No," Teni said to herself. "This is wrong. He is my client. I am married. I must stay professional." But feelings do not always listen to what is right. Over the next few weeks, the emotional connection between Teni and Zainu grew stronger. Late-night phone calls, long conversations, shared secrets. And then one day, during a private meeting at her office, temptation won. A mistake happened. A mistake that Teni will regret for the rest of her life. Teni tried to pretend that nothing had happened. She tried to focus only on the case, but guilt was eating her from inside. One afternoon, Teni received a phone call. "Hello, this is Madam Rose. I need to speak with you urgently. It's about Zainu's case." Teni knew who Madam Rose was, the wealthy woman who had helped Zainu's career. "Yes, of course," Teni said. "When can we meet? Come to my office tomorrow at 2 p.m. The next day, Teni went to Madame Rose's office. It was a big, beautiful office with expensive furniture and paintings on the walls, some of them painted by Zainu himself. Madame Rose was a woman in her 50s. She was elegant, well-dressed, and had sharp, intelligent eyes. "Sit down, Teni," Madame Rose said. Teni sat. Madame Rose looked at her for a moment without saying anything. Then she said, "I know about you and Zainu." Teni's heart stopped. Her face became hot. "I don't know what you mean." Madame Rose smiled sadly. "Don't lie to me, dear. I have seen it before. I know the pattern." "Pattern? What pattern?" Madame Rose stood up and walked to the window. "Let me tell you a story. 7 years ago, I found Zainu on the street. He was talented, but had nothing. No money, no connections, no hope. I helped him. I became like a mother to him. I gave him everything." She paused. "And then slowly, he became close to me. Too close. He would tell me his problems. He would cry in front of me. He would say I was the only person who understood him. He would look at me with those sad, grateful eyes." Teni felt cold fear in her stomach. Madame Rose continued, "I made a mistake with him. The same mistake you made." Teni could not speak. "But then I discovered something. Before him, there was another woman, a professor at the art school. She had helped him with his education. He did the same thing to her, got close to her, made her feel special, used her. After me, there was another woman, a gallery owner. Same thing. And now, you." Tears filled Teni's eyes. No, it's not like that. He really cares about me." Madame Rose walked over and put her hand on Teni's shoulder. "He cares about what you can do for him. You are his lawyer. You can save him from prison. Of course he cares, but it's not love, Teni. It's a pattern. He does this to every woman who helps him." Teni put her face in her hands. "I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid." "You're not stupid," Madame Rose said gently. "You're human, and he's very good at this, but you need to know the truth." Then Madame Rose's voice became serious. "There's something else you need to know, something more dangerous." Teni looked up. "What?" Madame Rose sat down across from her. "This murder case is fake." Teni stared at Madame Rose. "What do you mean fake?" Madame Rose leaned forward. "Amara is not dead. There was no murder." "But how do you know?" "Because I've been doing my own investigation," Madame Rose said. "I still care about Zainu, even after everything. So when he was arrested, I started asking questions." She pulled out a folder from her desk. "Look at this. Amara was seen 3 days after she supposedly died, in another city, alive and well. She is being paid to stay hidden." Teni's hands shook as she looked at the document. "Who is paying her?" Teni asked. "That's the dangerous part," Madame Rose said. "Powerful people, politicians, people who want to use this case for their own benefit." "But why? Why would they do this?" Madame Rose took a deep breath. "They want to manipulate the court system. If they control a big dramatic case like a murder trial, they can make connections with judges, police, and court officials. They can use those connections for other things." "What other things?" "I don't know exactly, but I heard rumors about a political family. A family preparing for an election. A family with secrets they want to hide." Suddenly, Teni felt sick. A political family. An election. What is the name of this family?" Teni asked, even though she was afraid of the answer. Madame Rose looked at her carefully. "I don't know the name, but Teni, I think you might know them better than I do." That's when it hit Teni like lightning.
Her husband, Sola, his brother, Kunle, running for mayor, the secret family meetings, the whispers that stopped when she entered the room. Oh God! Her own husband's family had created this case, and she had walked right into their trap. That night, Teni could not sleep. She lay in bed next to Sola, her mind racing. Should she confront him? What if she was wrong? But what if she was right? The next morning, after Sola had breakfast, Teni said, "We need to talk." Sola looked at her. About what? About Zainu's case? About your family? About what's really going on? Sola's face changed. He became very still. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me, Sola." Teni's voice shook. "I know the case is fake. I know powerful people created it, and I think your family is involved." Sola stood up. "Teni, be careful what you say." "Or what? You will threaten me too, like you threatened that poor boy." "I didn't threaten anyone." "But you knew. You knew and you said nothing." Sola's shoulders dropped. He sat back down, his face in his hands. "I didn't want this," he said quietly. "I told them it was wrong, but no one listens to me in this family. Kunle wanted power, mother wanted to help him, father agreed. What could I do?" "You could have told the truth," Teni shouted. "You could have gone to the police. An innocent man is in prison because of your family." "I know," Sola shouted back. "I know, okay? I couldn't sleep for weeks, but if I go against my family, they will destroy me. You don't understand how dangerous they are." "Dangerous? Sola, they created a fake murder case. That's not just dangerous, that's evil." Sola looked at her with tired eyes. "What are you going to do?" Teni stood up straight. "I'm going to do the right thing." "Teni, please. Please don't. They will come after you. They will come after both of us." "I don't care." "Teni, I don't care." Teni's voice broke. "An innocent man's life is destroyed. And I believed in him. I defended him. She stopped. She couldn't tell Sola about her mistake with Zainu. Not now. Sola looked suspiciously. "You what?" "Nothing. It doesn't matter. What matters is justice." She walked to the door. "Where are you going?" Sola asked. "To do the right thing." Teni left the house. But someone else had heard everything. In the hallway, hidden behind the door, Morounke had been standing there. She had heard every word. Her heart was beating fast. Her whole body was shaking. Now everything made sense. Why the family had secret meetings, why Madame Felicia was so mean to her because Morounke was not part of their evil plans, why they wanted Kunle to succeed at any cost. They were criminals. Her own husband was part of this. Morounke felt like her world was breaking apart. She walked slowly to the big living room where Madame Felicia was sitting, drinking tea. "Good morning, mother," Morounke said quietly. Madame Felicia didn't even look at her. "What do you want?" "I want to know the truth." Madame Felicia looked up. "What truth?" "About the murder case, about Zainu, about what this family is really doing." Madame Felicia's face became hard. "Who told you about that?" "I heard Teni and Zola talking." Madame Felicia stood up. "And what exactly did you hear?" "Everything. I know the case is fake. I know powerful people created it, and I think your family is involved." For a moment, there was silence. Then Madame Felicia smiled, a cold, evil smile. "So now you know," she said. "What are you going to do about it?" Morounke lifted her chin. "I'm going to the police." Madame Felicia laughed. "You? Go to the police? Against this family? You foolish girl. Do you know who we are? Do you know what we can do to you?" "I don't care. What you are doing is wrong." "Wrong?" Madame Felicia stepped closer. "Let me tell you something. In this world, only the strong survive. Only the powerful win. We do what we must do to protect our family." "Protecting your family by destroying an innocent person, that's not protection, that's evil." Madame Felicia's face became dark with anger. "You will not go to the police. You will not tell anyone. You will keep your mouth shut." "Or what? Or you will regret it." Morounke felt afraid, but she tried to be brave. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," she said. "For years you have insulted me, you have hurt me, you have made my life miserable, but I stayed quiet. Not anymore." She turned to walk away. Madame Felicia grabbed her arm. "If you tell anyone," Madame Felicia whispered, "you will not live to see what happens next." Morounke pulled her arm away and ran out of the house. That night, Morounke could not stop thinking.
She was afraid, very afraid, but she knew she had to do the right thing. In the morning, she would go to the police station. She would tell them everything she knew. She went to bed early, her door locked, but in the middle of the night, she heard a sound. Her door was opening. "Who's there?" she called out. No answer. She tried to get up, but suddenly hands grabbed her. She tried to scream, but a cloth covered her mouth. She fought, she kicked, she struggled, but there were too many of them, and they were too strong. In the morning, the whole house was filled with screaming. Morounke was found in her bed, not moving, not breathing, dead. The family called a doctor quickly. The doctor came and checked her body. "What happened to her?" Chief Oladimeji asked. The doctor looked nervous. "It seems like sudden illness, maybe heart attack." But Teni saw something the doctor didn't mention. Small marks on Morounke's neck, marks that looked like fingers. Teni knew the truth. Morounke had been killed, and Teni knew she would be next. Teni didn't go to Morounke's funeral. She knew if she stayed in that house one more day, she would end up like Morounke. That same day, Teni packed a small bag and left. She didn't tell Sola where she was going. She went straight to a hotel in the city. From there, she called Madame Rose. "They killed her," Teni said, her voice shaking. "They killed Morounke, and they'll kill me too if I stay." "Then don't stay," Madame Rose said. "Come to my house. You'll be safe here. We'll figure out what to do." Teni went to Madame Rose's house. For 2 days, she stayed there, trying to think clearly. Sola called her phone many times. She didn't answer. Then, on the 3rd day, she made a decision. "I'm going to the authorities," Teni said. "I have to. It's the only way." "Do you have evidence?" Madame Rose asked. "Some, but I need more." "What kind of evidence?" Teni thought for a moment. Voice recordings, documents, proof that the murder case was staged, proof that they killed Morounke. Madame Rose nodded. "I can help with the murder case. I have documents showing Amara is alive. I have photos of her in another city after her supposed death." "That's good, but I need something connecting the family to all of this." That's when Teni remembered something, the secret family meetings. Sola always recorded them on his phone. He said it was to remember what was discussed. If she could get that phone. That night, Teni did something dangerous. She went back to her house. She waited until very late when everyone was asleep. She had a key, so she opened the door quietly. The house was dark and silent. She went to the bedroom she shared with Sola. Sola was sleeping. On the table next to the bed was his phone. Teni's hands were shaking. Slowly, very slowly, she reached for the phone. Just as her fingers touched it, Sola stirred in his sleep. Teni froze. Sola turned over, but he didn't wake up. Teni picked up the phone and quickly left the room. In the bathroom, she turned on the phone. She knew his password, their wedding date. She went to his voice recordings. There they were, recording after recording of family meetings. She listened to a few minutes of one. "We need to control the court case. That's why we created it. Once we have friends in the system, we can take care of the land case." That was Kunle's voice. "And what about the lawyer, Teni? She's asking too many questions." That was Madame Felicia. "Don't worry about Teni. She's family. She won't betray us." That was Chief Oladimeji. And then Sola's voice. "But what if she finds out the truth? Then we'll deal with her the same way we'll deal with anyone who threatens this family." Teni felt cold all over. They had planned to kill her if she found out, just like they killed Morounke. Quickly, she sent all the recordings to her own phone. Then she sent them to Madame Rose's phone. Then she sent them to a secure email. She put Sola's phone back on the table and left the house. She would never return. The next morning, Teni and Madame Rose went to the police headquarters in the city. Not the local police, they might be connected to the Oladimeji family. They went to the federal police. Teni asked to speak with the highest officer. She was taken to the office of Commissioner Ibrahim. Commissioner Ibrahim was a serious man known for fighting corruption. "What can I do for you?" he asked. Teni took a deep breath. "I have evidence of a fake murder case, political corruption, and a real murder." The commissioner sat up straight. "Tell me everything." For the next 2 hours, Teni told the whole story about Zainu's fake case, about the family's plan to control the courts, about Kunle's political ambitions, about Morounke's death. She showed him the voice recordings. Madam Rose showed him the evidence that Amara was still alive. The commissioner listened to everything carefully. When they finished, he said, "This is very serious. If what you are saying is true, we're talking about conspiracy, murder, corruption, and abuse of power." "It's all true," Teni said. "I swear." "We will investigate, but I must warn you, the Oladimeji family is powerful. They have connections. This will not be easy." "I don't care how hard it is," Teni said. "Justice must be done." The commissioner nodded. "We'll need you to testify. Are you willing?" "Yes." "It might be dangerous," Teni said. "I know, but someone has to stand for truth." The commissioner smiled. "You are a brave woman. We'll start the investigation immediately." 3 days later, early in the morning, police vehicles surrounded the Oladimeji compound. People in the village came out of their houses to watch. "What's happening? Why are the police here? At the big house? The Oladimeji house?" No one could believe it. Commissioner Ibrahim himself led the operation. He knocked on the big gate. A security guard opened it. "What do you want?" the guard asked. "We have a warrant for the arrest of Chief Oladimeji, Madam Felicia, Kunle Oladimeji, and Sola Oladimeji."
The guard's eyes went wide. "Arrest? Chief Oladimeji? You must be joking." "Do I look like I'm joking? Open the gate now, or we'll break it down." The guard opened the gate. Police officers rushed into the compound. Inside the house, the family was having breakfast. When they saw the police, Chief Oladimeji stood up. "What is the meaning of this?" he shouted. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, I know exactly who you are," Commissioner Ibrahim said. "You are under arrest for conspiracy, corruption, and murder." Madam Felicia screamed, "Murder? We didn't murder anyone. This is a lie. Someone is trying to destroy our family." "Tell that to the judge," the commissioner said. "Officers, arrest them." Kunle tried to run, but officers caught him. "Let me go. I'm going to be mayor. You can't arrest me." "You are not going to be mayor," the commissioner said. "You are going to prison." Sola didn't fight. He just stood there, tears running down his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered to no one in particular. "I'm so sorry." One by one, they were handcuffed and taken out of the house. The whole village watched. People couldn't believe their eyes. The powerful Oladimeji family, arrested like common criminals. Madam Felicia fainted as they put her in the police van. When she woke up, she was already at the police station. The same day, police went to the prison where Zainu was held. "Zainu, you are free to go," the guard said. Zainu looked up, confused. "What? Free? Why?" "New evidence. The case against you was fake. You are innocent." Zainu couldn't believe it. He walked out of the prison into the sunlight. For the first time in months, he was free. But when he got home, he realized something sad. Everyone had heard about the case. Everyone thought he was a murderer. His clients didn't want his paintings anymore. People crossed the street when they saw him. "That's the man who killed his girlfriend," they whispered. "They say he's free now, but I don't trust him." Zainu's reputation was destroyed. Even though he was innocent, people still believed he was guilty. One day, Teni came to see him. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm sorry for everything." Zainu looked at her. "You saved my life. You have nothing to be sorry for." "I do," Teni said quietly. "I should have remained professional. I let my emotions cloud my judgment. And I hurt my marriage and my integrity." Zainu looked down. "I have a pattern. I get close to women who help me. I don't do it on purpose, but it happens. I'm sorry I dragged you into my mess." "We both made mistakes," Teni said, "but the important thing is that the truth came out." They said goodbye. It was the last time they would see each other. The trial of the Oladimeji family became the biggest news in the region. Every day, the courtroom was packed with people. Journalists wrote articles. Television cameras were everywhere. The evidence was presented. The voice recordings of the family planning the fake case. Madam Rose's proof that Amara was still alive. The doctor's secret testimony about the marks on Morounke's neck. Witnesses who were paid to lie against Zainu. Everything came out. Chief Oladimeji's lawyer tried to defend him. "My client is a respected man. This is all a misunderstanding." But the evidence was too strong. Madam Felicia cried in court. "I have cancer. I'm dying. How can you do this to a dying woman?" The judge ordered a medical examination. The doctors came back with their report. "She has no cancer. She is perfectly healthy." The whole courtroom gasped. Even the cancer was a lie. Kunle's political career was finished before it started. Sola sat quietly through the whole trial, his head down.
Finally, the judge gave the verdict. Chief Oladimeji, guilty of conspiracy and accessory to murder, 20 years in prison. Madam Felicia, guilty of conspiracy and accessory to murder, 20 years in prison. Kunle Oladimeji, guilty of conspiracy and corruption, 15 years in prison. Sola Oladimeji, guilty of conspiracy and holding evidence, 10 years in prison. The courtroom erupted. Some people cheered, some people cried. The mighty Oladimeji family had fallen. After the trial, Teni left Adebayo village. She couldn't stay there anymore. Too many painful memories. She moved to another city and started her law practice again. But she was different now. She had lost her marriage. She had made mistakes she could never undo. But she had also done the right thing in the end. Every night, she thought about Morounke, the gentle woman who had suffered so much, the woman who had been killed just for wanting to tell the truth. "I did it for you," Teni would whisper. "You got justice, sister. Even in death, you got justice." Teni never remarried. She dedicated her life to helping innocent people. She never forgot the lessons she learned. Madame Rose continued her business. She and Teni became close friends. Sometimes they would have tea together and talk about everything that happened. "Do you regret it?" Madame Rose asked one day. "Standing up to them, losing your marriage?" Teni thought for a moment. "I regret my mistakes with Zainu," I said. "I regret that I wasn't wiser. But I don't regret exposing the truth. Some things are more important than comfort." Zainu eventually rebuilt his life. He moved to another city where people didn't know his story. He started painting again, but he learned to keep professional boundaries. He never got close to his clients again. He never married. The pain of what happened was too deep. In Adebayo village, the big house of the Oladimeji family stood empty. The gates were locked. The mango trees still gave shade, but no one sat under them. People walked past the house and remembered. They remembered how power without conscience destroys families. They remembered how silence can be as deadly as violence. They remembered that no lie, no matter how strong, can hide forever. My people, and that was the end of Oladimeji's family. If you enjoyed this video, kindly help me like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.